garland.
Kartal. I think I have to struggle. Jaya Radha Madhava Ajayo Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Ajayo Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Ajayo Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivaradhari Ya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivaradhari Yo Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivaradhari Ya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Girivaradhari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Randana Vraja Jana Ranjana Shodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Janandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Avanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Yo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramsa Pravijakacharya Stota Sri Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrunda Ki Jai ISKCON Founder-Acharya Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Das Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Gaura Bhaktar Vindi Ki Jai Sri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai Ganatpuri Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai Samveta Bhaktangari Naam Sankhtari Naam Vigni Ki Jai Radha Vallabha All glories to Hare Krishna All glories to Hare Krishna All glories to Hare Krishna So see Guru and Gauranga All glories to Srila Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Shrunvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hrudayantasto hi abhadrani Vidhunoti suhursatam Nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttamasloke Bhaktir bhavati naistiki Tada rajastamo bhava Kama lobhadayaschaye Cheta eter anaviddam Stitam sattve prasidhati Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad bhakti yogataha Bhagavat tattva vijnanam Mukta sangasya jayate Abhidhyate hridaya grantes Chidyante sarva samshayaha Kshiyante chasya karmani Drishta evatmanishvare. So thus established the mode of unalloyed goodness. The man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service, the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as mastered. So today's verse for discussion 4.29.81. Prachina barhi rajarishim Praja sarga birakshane Adisya putran agamat Tapase kapilashamam Prachina barhi rajarishim Praja sarga birakshane Adisya putran agamat Tapase kapilashramam Prachina badhi rajarshi Praja sarga birakshane Adisya putran agamat Tapase kapilashramam Prachina Bharad Rajarshi Praja Sagati Lakshane Adisya Putran Agama Tapase Kapilashramam Prachina Bharhi Rajarshi Praja Sarga Birakshane Adisya Putran Agama Tapase Kapilashramam. Yeah, word to word meaning by Srila Prabhupada. Prachina Barihi, King Prachina Barihi, Raja Rishi, the saintly king, Praja Sarga, the mass of citizens, Abhirakshani, to protect, Adisya, after ordering, Putran, his sons, Agamad, departed, Tapase, for undergoing austerities, Kapilashramam, to the holy place known as Kapilashramam. Kapilashramam. Translation by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the presence of his ministers, the saintly king Prachinabarhi left orders for his sons to protect the citizens. He then left home and went off to undergo austerities in a place known as Kapilashrama. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Prajasarga is very important in this verse. When the saintly king Prachinabarhi was induced by the great sage Narada to leave home and take the devotions of the Lord, his sons had not yet returned from their austerities in the water. However, he did not wait for the return, but simply left messages to the effect that his sons were to protect the mass of citizens. According to Veera-Raghava-Acharya, such protection means organizing the citizens into the specific divisions of 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. It was the responsibility of the royal order to see that citizens were following the regulative principles of the 4 varnas, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and the ashramas, namely Brahmacharya, Gruhastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. It is very difficult to rule citizens in a kingdom without organizing this Varnashrama Dharma. To rule the mass of citizens in a state and keep them in a complete progressive order is not possible simply by passing laws every year in a legislative assembly. The Varnashrama Dharma is essential in a good government. One class of men, the Brahmanas, must be intelligent and Brahmanically qualified. Another class must be trained in administrative work, another in mercantile business, and another simply in labor. These 4 classes of men are already there according to nature, but it is the government's duty to see that all 4 of these classes follow the principles of their varnas methodically. This is called abhirakshana or protection. It is significant that when Maharaj Prachinbahi was convinced of the goal of life through the instructions of Narada, he did not wait even a moment to see his sons return, but left immediately. There were many things to be done upon the return of his sons, but he simply left them a message. He knew what his prime duty was. He simply left instructions for his sons and went off for the purpose of spiritual advancement. This is the system of Vedic civilization. Sridhara Swami informs us that Kapilashrama is located at the confluence of Ganges and the Bay of Bengal, a place known now as Ganga Sagara. This place is still famous as a place of pilgrimage, and many millions of people gather there every year on the day of Makara Sankranti and take bath. It is called Kapilashrama because of Lord Kapila's living there to perform his austerities and penances. Lord Kapila propounded the Sankhya system of philosophy. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Pangam Langayate Sailam Mukam Avartayek Sutim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram. I offer my respectful obeisance to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even a lame man can cross over a mountain and a dumb man recite Vedic literature. Sri Chaitanya Padamboja Madhupebhyo Namo Namaha Katanchit Ashayad Esham Swapitad Gandha Bhag Bhavet. Let me repeatedly offer my respectful obeisances unto the bee-like devotees who always taste the honey of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If even a doggish non-devotee somehow takes shelter of such devotees, he enjoys the aroma of the lotus flower. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindhavaneshwari Shabano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Esha Sunyavadi Paschata Desha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So translation once again. In the presence of his ministers, the saintly king Prachinabhari left orders for his sons to protect the citizens. He then left home and went off to undergo austerities in a place known as Kapilashrama. So Srila Prabhupada, in his purport to this verse, divides the section into three aspects. One aspect he tries to discuss on the varnashrama, a necessity in the society for a person to progress on the spiritual journey. Then the second aspect, he talks about Prachinabhari's decision to leave his family the moment he realized the urgency of spiritual advancement. So that's the second section, which is very much relevant to the way we practice. And then finally, Prabhupada concludes with Sridhar Swami's comment that Kapilashrama is located at the confluence or the meeting of Ganges, Bay of Bengal. I think to India, if Bay of Bengal on the right side, on the eastern side, so somewhere Ganges and Bay of Bengal, they meet, and that's the place where you have Kapilashrama, or that place is called Ganga Sagara. Ganga is Mother Ganges, Sagara is the sea, so where Bay of Bengal and Ganges, they meet, so that's the place where you have Kapilashrama. And this place is still famous today, wherein people go and take bath. By taking bath, it is understood or it's believed that they get liberated. So there are the three sections in which Srila Prabhupada divides the purport. Now when we are born in a family, we are born with a psychophysical body. And that psychophysical body, I think earlier also we had discussed a couple of times, where we have certain thoughts in our mind or in our consciousness, and these thoughts, depending on what nature we have acquired, accordingly, if you observe, that they can be classified into various categories: the basket of future, the basket of the past, and the basket of the present. Now, when these thoughts are coming, the person tends to act on those thoughts. So when a person acts on those thoughts, an impression is created, and that impression is called samskara. And when this, so that's the super thoughts are called the vritti, and when the impression is created, it is called samskara. And when the same samskara is repeated again and again, then it leads to vasana. And that vasana is called the tendency or the inclination. And with that inclination, where is it stored? It is stored in chitta. So since it's stored in the chitta, the subtle body, the person takes birth with that inclination, whatever is stored. And therefore we get the psychophysical body, the next birth. And once again the cycle starts, that vritti, samskara, vasana, chitta, psychophysical body, which is based on the guna and karma, and that leads to once again vritti. So this is the cycle. This can be taken as a material cycle, but this also can be converted into a spiritual cycle, because whatever thoughts I'm having in my consciousness is based on what I'm carrying from my previous birth. So if instead of focusing my thoughts on sense objects, I focus on spiritual objects, on deities, on shravanam, kirtanam, then that also creates an impression. That also creates inclination, tendency in me. And that's also stored in vasana. So therefore, chitta, and therefore Krishna says in this chapter that wherever you have left in your previous life, you continue in the next life your devotional service. So this is valid both for the material consciousness and also for the spiritual consciousness. So somebody's birth is not defined based on I'm born in a particular family, in a Brahmana family, therefore I'm not by birth a Brahmana. So the Varnashrama system, you can broadly say that it can be spoken on three different ways. One, the general classification of the society, what we find throughout the world. So what is that classification? Every society has some intellectuals, there are administrators, then there are business community, and then there are the workers, working community. This is a general broader classification, and this is observed all over the planet, but without any goal of any spiritual development. Nothing is known to them. It's a Varna Sankara, that they have no idea for what purpose they are living. They just come into this planet or come into the human form of life, they while away their time and leave the body, without having to create any spiritual consciousness. And this is what Srila Prabhupada spoke when he had that conversation with Professor Kotowski. So that's where he said that it doesn't matter, everywhere you have this classification. Then we have, in another way, the classification which takes place, which has taken place, deep root in India, that is the Asuric Varnashrama Dharma. That by birth, somebody's caste is defined, or somebody's guna and karma are defined. Yes, I'm born in a Brahmana family, therefore I'm a Brahmana. Somebody is born in a Vaishya family, he is considered to be a Vaishya. Somebody is born in an administrative Kshatriya family is considered to be Kshatriya. Although these days there is no clear demarcation, somebody can be called as a Brahmana, somebody can be called as a Kshatriya, somebody can be called as a Vaishya. By and large, everyone is a Shudra. That's what the scripture says, that Janmana Jayate Shudraha, Karmana Jayate Dvijaha. It's by through activity and guna somebody can become a Brahmana. It's not just based on, by birth I'm in a particular caste. But that has been done to perpetuate somebody's control over the society. This we find even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on this planet performing his pastimes, the caste Brahmanas would put so many breaks to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. So that is the Asuric Varnashrama. Now what Prabhupada is talking here is not the general classification which is understood in the world, that there's an intellectual class, there's an administrative class, or the Asuric Varnashrama Dharma, a Varnashrama which we have in Indian subcontinent based on, it's called the caste system. But what Prabhupada is suggesting, that it should be, that the instruction what Prachinabar he left to his children through the minister is that the society should be divided in terms of the 4 Varnas and Ashrama, which is the Daivi Varnashrama. In a Daivi Varnashrama, and this Daivi Varnashrama was created or has been created by the Lord himself. And what is the goal of the Daivi Varnashrama? That everyone's progresses spiritually. That's the goal. Whatever capabilities I have, whatever the psychophysical body I have acquired, I use that nature in order to serve the Supreme Lord. And therefore, no one is superior or no one is inferior in this Varnashrama Dharma. Everyone's goal is to please, or actually Parasrama Mahamuni says that when Prabhupada gives when Toshani is the meaning he gives, does not give as pleasing, but he says satisfying. So that Varnashrama Dharma tries to satisfy the Supreme Lord by whatever nature they have acquired. With that nature they work and then give the fruits in serving the Supreme Lord. So when they do that, that is not considered to be the Nishkama Karma Yoga, but it is considered to be the Bhakti Yoga, because their consciousness for doing that work is to please the Supreme Lord, not that I should do the work and reap the benefit or reap the fruits of that activity. So when I'm trying to do that, then it's a different category. But here the objective is that I'm doing my work exclusively to please the Supreme Lord. And hence in that Varnashrama Dharma or in Daivi Varnashrama Dharma, everyone progresses. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is trying to say, that it was the responsibility of the royal order to see that the citizens were following the regulative principles of the 4 Varnas. It is very difficult to rule citizens in a kingdom without organizing this Varnashrama Dharma. So without organizing a society into these divisions in trying to satisfy the Supreme Lord, the society becomes chaotic. And we are witnessing the last couple of days the chaotic situation in none other than whom we consider as the most advanced country on this planet, which is United States. The way they are, the president of the country says that looting, shooting. So that is the mentality of the society or the leaders, because it has no spiritual understanding. They don't understand that the human form of life is meant for spiritual advancement. But it is, if I go back 20 years back, I too was in a similar situation. It's not that I should try to pinpoint at somebody, unless someone comes in contact with a bona fide spiritual master or a bona fide sampradaya, the person will be lingering on the material platform. We could see in Prachina Bharat also, he was given instructions by his guru. And what were the instructions? That he should perform his prescribed duty. And for what purpose the prescribed duty was required to be performed? To get some material benefit. He did not understand that performing that prescribed duty or the Nishkama Karma Yoga was meant for spiritual realization. It's meant for self-realization. That was not clear to Prachina Bharat, and therefore he was performing all the yajnas in order to derive some material benefit. And that's the focus we find in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, that you perform your prescribed duty not to reap the immediate material benefit, but for self-realization. So therefore there, Krishna's elaboration of the Nishkama Karma Yoga is that first you realize yourself and then you realize Paramatma. That's the trend of thoughts in the first 6 chapters. But when you move to middle 6 chapters, first you realize Bhagavan, then you realize yourself. So the focus is on Bhagavan. Once you realize Bhagavan, you automatically realize yourself. So this is the gradual process, and that's the direct process, the middle 6 chapters. And till Prachina Bharat came in contact with Narada Mahamuni, he did not understand. It's only when Narada Mahamuni gave him the instruction, he understood that yes, he has a goal, a purpose in life, and that is to realize the Supreme Lord. So the moment the person realizes that he has a goal, then the person leaves everything immediately and pursues his goal. Why? Because we are not sure what is going to be our life next day. We are not sure we are going to be alive or not. This we can see in the simple pastime in Mahabharata. Once Bhimsen was standing in front of the palace gate. A Brahmana comes there and Bhima asks him, for what purpose have you come at this time? Because that was sometime in the evening. Then the Brahmana says that I'm required to perform my daughter's marriage and I need wealth. And therefore I've come to king asking for wealth. Bhim said, don't worry, Yudhishthira Maharaj will give you enough wealth for you to perform your daughter's marriage. So he happily says that you can go inside. And inside, when the Brahmana meets the king, king says for whatever reason, he says that please come tomorrow, I'll give you. So the Brahmana returns back empty-handed, and Bhim was still outside the gate. And when he comes out, Bhim, with eagerness, he asks him, how did you get required wealth? Brahmana says, no, the king has asked me to come the next day to take wealth. And Bhima becomes very furious. Then outside the gate, you have that bell, huge bell, which is supposed to be rung during emergency. You can know that Bhima has got the strength of 10,000 elephants. With his strength, he starts banging the bell. And the way the bell was making noise, Yudhishthira Maharaj, then Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev, everyone was bewildered, and they came running outside the palace and what's happening? And to their surprise, they see Bhim who was ringing the bell. And Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Bhim, saying, what is the reason? Why are you banging the bell so hard? He says, I never knew, Maharaj, that you know that you are going to be alive tomorrow, and therefore you have promised him, this Brahmana, to give him wealth tomorrow, not now. Then Yudhishthira realizes what Bhim is trying to tell him, that we are not sure whether we are going to be alive tomorrow or not. So therefore, I need to give the Brahmana right now. So therefore he escorts him back into the palace, gives him wealth and satisfies him. So we can see that from this incident that we are not sure we are going to be alive tomorrow or not. So therefore, whatever auspiciousness is required to be done, or the moment we realize that there is a higher goal in our life, then we should with full heart pursue that goal. We have a similar instruction from in the episode of Ramayana also. After Ravana fell on the battlefield, I think all of you must be knowing, after Ravana fell on the battlefield, then Lord Rama requests Lakshman to seek guidance from Ravana. And Lakshman was really surprised. He says, from Ravana that I should receive instruction? He says, no, now Ravana is a different person. You go to him because he's on the verge of death. He is about to leave his body, and therefore you better go to him and he'll give you the required instruction. And because the Lakshman being the younger brother of Lord Rama, he says, okay, let me take the instruction from Ravana. And he goes to him who was lying on the battlefield on the ground. But Lakshman did not feel like moving towards his feet, Ravana's feet. He goes and stands behind Ravana's head. Ravana just keeps quiet. He doesn't give any instruction. He realizes that this person is not submissive, and someone who is not submissive, he is not receptive for knowledge. So therefore, he refuses to give instruction to Lakshman. He doesn't say anything. Then Lakshman realizes that his place is not near Ravana's head, but his place is near his feet. So therefore, he changes his position and takes the shelter of Ravana's feet. Then Ravana gives him 3 instructions. And the first instruction, he says, is Shubhasya Shigram. Whatever auspiciousness you want to do it immediately. Don't postpone it. Simultaneously also says, whatever is Ashubham, postpone it. That's why we say that whenever you become emotional, press the pause button. Do not blurt out. Do not say anything immediately. Wait for some time. You become stabilized in your emotions and then you say something. So from this instruction we understand that whatever is the auspicious activity we are required to perform, that should be performed immediately. Shubhasya Shigram. Because the other 2 instructions are given which are not in this context relevant to us, but the second instruction was that when you are facing any enemy, you should not underestimate the enemy's strength. You should go with full vigor. Third instruction is valuable for us in our general day-to-day life. Never give your life secret to anyone. Under any situation, never ever give your life secret to anyone. That's the third instruction. And he gives the example that I have told my younger brother Vibhishan how I can be killed. And that is the cause of my death now. I'm going to die. So there are 3 instructions Ravana gives to Lakshman. So therefore we see that it is that instruction that Shubhasya Shigram, Ashubhasya Kalaharanam, that allow the time to dissipate so that we do not act on inauspicious activities. So here we find that the moment Prachinabhari realizes the importance of devotional service. He leaves everything. He doesn't even wait for his children to return, and he leaves to forest to perform his devotional service. And this is what we need to take into our consciousness, that the moment we realize the importance of devotional service, we should leave everything aside and give the importance to that. That should be our primary focus. We also have similar examples from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. That in the case of Vidura, we find that Vidura was in the palace and he was waiting possibly for a trigger in his life. Just as in Prachinabhari's life, the trigger happened when Narada Mahamuni gave the instruction, then the illumination took place and he left the palace and went away. So similarly for Vidura also, all along he was tolerating the insults heaped by Duryodhana. But at a point of time when Duryodhana kicked him out with lot of insults, then what did Vidura do? Vidura took that as an opportunity. He took that as a Krishna's arrangement, and he leaves the palace and he goes off for visiting the holy dhams. So that was a trigger. So similarly, but he returns back to give cutting instruction to his brother Dhritarashtra. Because Dhritarashtra, we should remember that just as Ravana was a very knowledgeable person, therefore Ravana was called Ravana Brahma. Similarly, Dhritarashtra also was a highly knowledge person. It's not that he did not know, but in the case of Dhritarashtra, his knowledge was covered or clouded by attachment to his son Duryodhana. Whereas in the Ravana's case, his knowledge was covered or clouded by the lusty desire. And therefore, both of them, though they were in knowledge, they could not realize the purpose of life. After Duryodhana died, then Vidura's instruction, immediately he could take it, because this detachment is gone, or his attachment is gone. He has become now totally detached, and so that's the time when the instruction was given, he took it and then he left the palace. We also find similar pastime in the case of Chitraketu. Chitraketu, after a long time, though he was told that if the child is going to be a source of pleasure, but at the same time a source of agony, he wanted the child desperately. He has the child, and the child dies. When the child dies, there is so much of lamentation in Chitraketu. Then Narada Muni once again appears, he gives him the instruction. It still does not satisfy him. He wants his child to come back. And then when the child starts telling which life, which father, and there Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that it's actually Narada Mahamuni who enters through Chitraketu's son, and he was giving the instruction. Earlier he gave the instruction outside, but Chitraketu did not take it. But then Narada Mahamuni gave the same instruction through the body of his son. Then Chitraketu realizes. So that was the trigger in his life, that when Narada Mahamuni gave the instruction through the Chitraketu's son, then Chitraketu realizes the importance of spiritual life and the temporariness of this material world, and therefore he becomes serious in his Krishna consciousness. And I think in 1 week's time, he attains Prema Bhakti. So that was the trigger in his life, that he became a Prema Bhakta. Then we also have the pastime of Ajamil. What was the trigger for Ajamil to become serious in Krishna consciousness? It was the appearance of Vishnu Dutas at the time of his departure. Both Yamadutas appear and Vishnu Dutas appear, and then when he realized the conversation between the Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas, he understands the goal of life, he understands what he was doing, and when he gets back his normal consciousness, his body, he does not even go back to his home where he had his dear child, Narayan. He did not go to the family, he did not go there. Straight, I think he went to Haridwar to pursue his Krishna consciousness. So that was the trigger for him. The trigger in terms of the conversation between the Vishnu and Yamadutas, that enlightened him. And then he became serious in Krishna consciousness. We also have a trigger in Srila Prabhupada's life. Srila Prabhupada received his instruction from his Gurudev that he should preach Krishna consciousness in the Western world. All along he's been trying. He was thinking, let me earn some money and then settle my family, let me do some business and then settle my family, then I can go to the Western world. But it did not happen the way Prabhupada was contemplating. Then he thought, at least let me perform my daughter's marriage and then take to preaching in the Western world. And when he comes back home, you can see the trigger happening there. There was once again the communication or quarrel, or you can say that then his wife says, Prabhupada asks his wife, whether do you want me or your cup of tea? And the wife says, I want cup of tea. That was the trigger. It exploded, and Srila Prabhupada, he left home. Because the family did not realize what was happening. When the family knew that Prabhupada has taken sannyas, the family was shattered, or the family was shocked that their father had taken sannyas. So that was the trigger in Prabhupada's situation. So we can see that similar triggers happen in everyone's life. And if we are sincere in our devotional service, steadily following the spiritual path, we create a framework for ourselves how to progress based on the instructions we receive from our spiritual master. And we do not commit any Vaishnava aparadha. A trigger will come. The illumination will happen. That is Krishna's arrangement. How it happens, we don't know. But that trigger, when it happens, we leave everything aside and become serious in Krishna consciousness. That's a journey everyone will go through. We also find, because it said that one should not commit Vaishnava aparadha, because if somebody commits Vaishnava aparadha, then that trigger may not happen. We find in the pastime of Ambarish Maharaj requests Narada Mahamuni to instruct his brother. Narada Muni tries to give advice or instruct Ambarish Maharaj's brother, and Ambarish Maharaj, how did he respond? He becomes angry. He pulls out his sword to slash Narada Mahamuni. Narada Mahamuni, being the spiritual personality, he laughs at him and says, "You can't do anything to me. I'm not a material body." And then Narada Mahamuni says, because it was Ambarish Maharaj who has requested him to give the instruction, he gives him an instruction. When you meet Yamadharmaraj, you tell him, what is the utility of encountering or meeting a Vaishnava? What is the benefit of meeting a Vaishnava? And then Narada Mahamuni disappears. The time comes when the brother has to leave the body, and he is with Yamadharmaraj. And Yamadharmaraj, before awarding the punishment, Ajamel's brother, Ambarish Maharaj brother says that, can I ask you one question? He says, what is that? What is the benefit of meeting a pure devotee? Then Yamadharmaraj says, I too don't know the answer. Let's go and meet Brahma, who is the creator of this universe. Maybe he'll have the answer. So then they both go to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma says, I too don't know the answer. So let's go to Lord Vishnu. So they go, all three of them, they go to Lord Vishnu and ask this question to Lord Vishnu. What is the benefit of meeting a pure devotee? Lord Vishnu smiles and says that the benefit is that this person will not go back to material world because he has entered Vaikuntha. This is the benefit of meeting a pure devotee. So we find in Prachinabhara's case also that he had received instruction before, but that instruction did not make much sense to him. He was only involved in karmakanda activities. But when he meets Narada Mahamuni, that changed his goal, that changed his understanding, and immediately he becomes serious, and without waiting for anyone, he leaves the palace in pursuit of his Krishna consciousness. So what it means is that in our life also, we start a similar journey. Our journey starts when we want to express ourselves both in the material world and the spiritual world, on the spirituality at the same time. So there is impure consciousness because I'm still on the platform of I and mine. And with that I start my journey, and then as I do my Krishna consciousness or as I practice my devotional service, I am moving forward in my journey, and in the process there is certain amount of purity taking place. And that purity, when it stabilizes at the platform of Nistha, then from there on we become much more serious in our Krishna consciousness. A trigger will happen and we become much more serious and we focus more on internal development in terms of chanting and hearing rather than external activities of Krishna consciousness. Right now I'm trying to do external activities of Krishna consciousness, but as I move forward, I tend to spend more and more time in isolation, in trying to chant and hear more of Krishna Katha. The second section Srila Prabhupada talks about is about the Kapila Ashrama. Is located at the confluence of the Ganges and the Bay of Bengal, a place known now as Ganga Sagara. Today is also the appearance day of Mother Ganga Devi. So we know the pastime how Mother Ganga Devi appeared on this planet. That the King Sagara had, I think, 60,000 children, and he was asked to perform Ashwamedha Yajna. And in the process of performing Ashwamedha Yajna, you have to send your horse all over the world to say that everyone should become subservient to the king. But Indra, out of fear, he steals that horse and then ties it in the ashram of Lord Kapila, Kapila Muni. And then in search of that horse, the 60,000 children of King Sagara, they reach the Kapilashrama, and there they find that the horse is tied, and they think that it is Kapila who has stolen their horse, and therefore they heap abuse on him. And Kapila becomes angry, and he opens his eyes. Then all the 60,000 children are turned to ash. When Sagara comes to know about it, he becomes grieved, and he wanted his children to be back. So we know I think he performs the austerities. Then his grandson Anshuman, then Anshuman could not succeed. Then his son, I think Dilip. Then Dilip also, he remains incomplete in getting his forefathers ash or liberated. Then his son Bhagirath, he performs austerities and pleases Ganga Devi to appear. But Ganga Devi says that she needs somebody to take her force, and she suggests to Bhagirath that you pray to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva will be able to take her force. And then he prays to Lord Shiva. Then Lord Shiva receives Ganga Devi on his head. Then he prays once again to Lord Shiva to release Ganga Devi. He releases Ganga Devi, and then she liberates the 60,000 children of King Sagara. So that's the pastime, and we find that even today people therefore go to Ganga Sagara and take a dip for liberation. If liberation is by taking a dip in Ganga Sagara, one can get liberated so easily. Why people are not getting liberated? Anything, any idea? Any comment? We say that Ganga, by taking a dip in Ganga, you get liberated. Nectar of Instruction also says that by taking a dip in Radha Kund, you get Krishna Prema. I think all of us would have taken, at least sprinkled Radha Kund water on our head, but I am where I am. So similarly, somebody takes a dip in Ganga, he should get liberated, but why are they not getting liberated? Because here we find in the pastime, the 60,000 children of King Sagara become liberated. Yeah, it is like the elephant. Elephant enters the water, takes nice bath, but then comes out of water, once again sprinkles dust on itself. So something similar to that, somebody may indulge in, or somebody may take a dip in holy Ganga, but then after coming out, he is back to his normal activity. And therefore, he does get some benefit, but what he's aspiring, he'll not achieve. And Mother Ganga Devi also, as a personified, has influence or the root for the Mahabharata war, or I would say Mahabharata pastime itself. We all know that King Shantanu and Satyavati, Mother Satyavati. So Satyavati's father was the fisherman, and they would allow, or they would ferry the passengers across river Ganga or Yamuna, I think. And then once Parasara Mahamuni was trying to cross the river. And when he was trying to cross the river, it was held by Mother Satyavati. And as they were crossing, Parasara Muni looks into the star movement, and he realizes that if at this moment someone can conceive, she'll conceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord. And therefore, he facilitates Satyavati to become a mother. And so therefore we find who was born? Srila Vyasadeva. So they were such great rishis, but just looking at this star movement, the combination, he could understand that's going to benefit the whole world, and therefore Mother Satyavati becomes mother of Srila Vyasadeva. And then Vyasadeva once again becomes the father of Vidura, then Dhritarashtra, and King Pandu. And there we find Bhishma Dev was the son of not Satyavati, because Satyavati's father said that, look, only my daughter's son should rule the kingdom, and Bhishma Dev relinquishes his right for kingdom and allows Satyavati's son to become the king. So that's how the pastime goes. And it's relevant in the sense that today being Mother Ganga's appearance day, so not only Ganga has appeared, but it also facilitated Bhagavad Gita to be spoken, because Bhagavad Gita is embedded within the pastime of Mahabharata. So the place where the Ganges, Prabhupada writes in his comment in 5:17-9, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the place where the Ganges flows into the salt water of the Bay of Bengal is still known as Ganga Sagara, or the meeting place of the Ganges and the Bay of Bengal. On Makar Sankranti, in the month of January-February, thousands of people still go there to bathe, hoping to be liberated. That they can actually be liberated in this way is confirmed herein. For those who bathe in the Ganges any time, the results of great sacrifices like Ashwamedha and Rajasya Yajnas are not at all difficult to achieve. Most people in India are still inclined to bathe in the Ganges, and there are many places where they can do so. At Prayag, many thousands of people gather during the month of January to bathe in the confluence of Ganges and Yamuna. Afterward, many of them go to the confluence of Bay of Bengal and the Ganges to take bath. Thus, it's a special facility for all people of India that they can bathe in the water of Ganges at so many places of pilgrimage. So therefore, summarizing, we find that Prachina Bharat receives the trigger in the form of instruction from Narada Mahamuni, and then leaves the palace with instruction to his children in pursuit of Krishna consciousness. And that instruction was to create the Varnashrama, and through the Varnashrama Dharma, that all the citizens are given the opportunity to progress on the spiritual journey. And how is that Varnashrama created? That Varnashrama is not based on somebody's birth, but that's a system created by the Lord, as Krishna says in the fourth chapter, Chaturvarnya Maya system. I am the creator of the Varnashrama. So therefore it's based on somebody's guna and karma, or the activity. Somebody does the work, and if one can dovetail that work in pleasing the Lord, then his work becomes a devotional activity. So that's the system which the society requires, so that everyone can pursue that and move on progressively on the spiritual journey. So Prabhupada had that desire to create the Varnashram society. I think his disciples are trying to facilitate the Varnashrama, and as part of the Varnashrama, it's a simple living and high thinking, that you should have your own piece of land, your own cow, and then whatever grains you get from that small piece of land, you use it for your own family. If anything surplus is there, that you barter it or you sell in the market. So that simple living will allow the individuals to progress on the spiritual path. I think something like that is there in Murvalamba? Not really? Okay. I thought Murvalamba has that land, they grow their own fruits, vegetables, their own grains. They are not highly dependent on the outside Murvalamba that environment, and therefore we find that there's good environment for persons to progress spiritually there. So typically it's like, they say that it's like an agricultural college where you are taught how to develop the skills in raising garden, fruits, grains, then taking care of cows and so on. And some skills are given, like the skills taught in TAFE colleges here, for example, or in diploma colleges in India, that the hands-on skills are given. Use those hands-on skills to do the small activities which are required to grow grains, fruits, vegetables, taking care of cows and so on. And therefore, you are spending much of your time in spiritual part and less of time in trying to become a millionaire or a billionaire or in industry-related activities. Then the other part is that we have a trigger coming, and that trigger would happen in anyone's life if somebody is sincere in their devotional service. So that pursuit, if he is sincere, then as the progresses, we find that Krishna will facilitate that illumination to appear so that the person takes to Krishna consciousness very seriously. And the third section, Prabhupada talks about the taking bath in Ganga Sagar, so that how it is happening even today, that especially during the Makar Sankranti time, people go there, that's considered auspicious time, they take bath, and according to the verse, well, they can achieve liberation, but once again they fall back in the material pool because they are involved in material activity. Something similar to that we find in South India is of the Ayyappa people. If you see that, from people from all walks of life, during that 45 days, they put on the black dress without any shoes or slippers. They behave as if they have been the most sanest persons. And then after the 45 days is over, it's like taking a dip in Ganga. They come back and then back to their normal activity. The normal activity could be anything. So therefore, that really, it does give them some benefit, but it's not the actual benefit which the human life is meant for. Yeah, with this, I think we'll end the session. If any comment or any question, yes, Prabhu.
You were mentioning regarding Kapila Muni's pastime when sons of King Sagara came and they practically insulted or they doubted him to be the thief of the horse. Actually, when a few days back, on Janu Saptami I gave the class, I said the past time I did the same mistake where I did mention that Kapila Muni actually burned through his anger. But Bhagavatam, I was corrected by devotees later that Bhagavatam very directly says that Kapila Muni didn't burn. So I did the same mistake, that's why I'm just saying.
Because I read it, I don't know where I read. I read in the summary, okay.
Yeah, so and Prabhupada very specifically writes in the purport in 9, 8, 11 that a pure devotee or the personality like who is the Supreme Lord himself, Kapila Muni, is not affected by anger. So, because I did the same mistake, I thought I'll just tell you.
But then how did they become to ashes if that's not...
So then the verse says that due to losing their own intelligence and the mistake they did towards the Kapila Muni, the fire of their own body burned them to ashes.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Prabhu, in the beginning of your lecture, you said the first 6 chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is Karma Yoga, focuses on the person first and Bhagavan later. And the middle 6 chapter says Bhagavan first and the person later. So what's the last 6 chapter, which is Jnana Yoga?
That's the Jnana part. That's the Jnana part. The last 6 chapter talks about that the Jnana in terms of that you are not the body, you are the spirit, soul. That part is spoken again. See, here when we say that the first 6 chapter talks about the process is being described in the first 6 chapters. What is the process? Primarily, it is the Nishkama Karma Yoga. That you perform the Nishkama Karma Yoga or you perform your prescribed duty, and by performing the prescribed duty and remaining detached from the immediate result which you get from that prescribed duty, you realize yourself that you are not the body, you are the spirit soul. So the moment you realize that you are not the spirit soul, then the Paramatma realization comes. That's what Krishna Thakur says, that you realize yourself, that follows the Paramatma realization. So this is what the first 6 chapters is trying to talk. But the middle 6 chapters, it is, the focus is on Bhagavan realization first. You are doing direct devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And once you realize the Supreme Lord, then you realize yourself. So that the process is being described here. You have any question?
Prabhu, with Ravana's instructions to Lakshmana, it's questionable, but I guess if Lord Ram asked him to approach Ravana, then we can accept that it's genuine. So on that basis, he said that one shouldn't reveal one's life secrets to anyone. Probably can't say that's applicable in spiritual context. What are your comments on that? Because we have to express confidentially, and especially if we are associating with advanced devotees, or mentors, spiritual master, can't keep there's nothing like life secrets on that point.
Yeah, what it means is that you should have absolute trust in the person to whom you are revealing. That's what it's trying to say. You should have absolute trust. You are not going to reveal your personal aspects to anyone and everyone, even within the devotional community. You should consider yourself as very fortunate if you have at least one devotee in your life with whom you can share everything of yours with that person. Even one devotee in your life. You should consider yourself very lucky, very fortunate.
Thank you. And also this, the story of Ganges, Ganga Devi coming down, there's another version where Bali Maharaj was going to get the Lord's foot on him, and then he lifted the foot, and that foot cracked the universe, and then she came in like that. So she's called Vishnupadi. So Just different versions or?
No, it's the same. That Ganga becomes, see, it pierces the universe, and there with the Karana Jal, Lord Brahma washes Lord Trivikram, and then that water, when it enters the material world, it becomes Ganga. That one drop which falls down from the, after washing Lord Trivikram's lotus feet, that becomes Ganga. So there is one drop, but here it becomes a complete flow.
Does it come to the earth planet as well?
Sorry?
Does it come to the earth or just?
Yeah, it comes to earth. That is, by prayers, the Ganga is brought to earth.
Yeah, but then according to this story, this, what's his name? Bhagirath got it. So that's...
Yeah, Bhagirath, he prays. Because Bhagirath prays, that drop comes to material world. That's what it is said. Unless you have some... Yes, Prabhu.
There is no two worlds. It is the same thing. Because when Mother Ganga enters the universe through the four made by Lord Trivikram, she stays in the heavenly planets as Mandakini.
Yeah. Yeah, the same drop. When she comes, as Prabhu said, different names are given as she is passing through the material layers. At one place it's called Mandakini, here it's called Ganga. At the other place, I think some other name is also. Sorry? Yeah, Jahnavi. She comes out of the ear of. Yeah. Sorry? Hooghly River, I don't know, Prabhu. I don't know. Grandaraj Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.